Okay. I'm Lisa Wong. Really nervous. I'm going to talk about obesity. Obesity rates are increasing across the U.S. The latest evidence estimates that approximately 40% of adults and 18.5% of children and adolescents in the U.S. are obese. I'm going to argue the major claim that the overconsumption of junk food is the primary cause for obesity in the United States. First, I'm going to define some key terms, and then I'm going to talk about how junk food is physically addictive, and then I'm going to talk about the importance of portion size, and I'm going to give evidence that America has become increasingly addicted to junk food. First, I'm going to identify obesity and junk food. Obesity is when your body mass index reaches 30 or higher. Body mass index is a weight to height ratio. Junk food in this argument is considered to be nutrient-poor foods high in sugar or fat. So what causes the overconsumption of junk food? This leads me to my first secondary claim that junk food is physically addictive. Sugar causes the hallmarks of addiction, which is binging, withdrawal, and tolerance, and cravings. This is thanks to the reward system in the brain. When you do something pleasurable, such as consume drugs, have sex, or eat, your body gives your brain a reward called dopamine. These dopamine bursts can vary in duration and intensity. When the brain feels overstimulated, it will adjust its ability to accept dopamine by depleting its pleasure receptors. This is called gaining a tolerance. A study conducted at the Scripps Research Institute in Florida on lab rats showed that obese rats had comparable depletion of dopamine receptors to substance abusers. The study was conducted on 3 groups of rats. One group of rats had unlimited access to high-fat human foods. It also had unlimited access to standard rat food. The second group of rats had access to high-fat foods for only 1 hour a day and unlimited access to standard rat food. And the third group was a control group and had unlimited access to rat food at all times of the day. Unsurprisingly, the group that had unlimited access to the high-fat foods became obese very quickly, consuming twice the amount of calories in a day as the control group. Even the group that was only allowed high-fat food for 1 hour a day did its best to keep up calorically to that group, quoting Scientific American. These subjects managed, on average, to consume 66% of their daily calories. This is speaking about the 1 hour a day group. In a single hour per day in which they could eat the junk food, developing a pattern of compulsive binge eating. Only the obese rats with extended access to the bad food, however, had sharply increasing thresholds for reward levels, which is the tolerance. Not only is fast food addicting, but it's cheap and highly available. According to Google Maps, when you search for fast food near me, there's 18 locations popping up within a 10-mile radius of Cal Poly Pomona alone. This brings me to my second secondary claim that portion sizes play an instrumental role in our overeating habits. Research from Cornell University published by the Journal of Health Economics shows that consumers use such labels to dictate how much food they think is a normal portion and then adjust their intake accordingly. David Just, the conductor of the study, said, "These varying concepts of regular portions made all the difference in how much people would spend and subsequently eat. Participants ate much more when their portion was labeled regular than when it was labeled double size. In fact, participants who thought their portion was double size left 10 times the food on their plate." Because our consumption is based on perception of food size, when a medium drink at McDonald's is 21 ounces and a medium drink at Burger King is 30 ounces, that can be problematic in terms of regulating food intake. In terms of fast food, another example of portion size contributing to overeating is the cost effectiveness in upgrading your meal size. The food itself in a meal doesn't compare in cost to labor, and in certain cases, like drinks, the container that it comes in, so upgrading to a larger meal can get you more food for less money. Finally, this brings me to my backing, which is evidence that America has become increasingly addicted to junk food. Proof can be recognized in the increase in portion size. In terms of fast food, for example, when McDonald's opened in the 1950s, the company had 7 menu items. Everything came in one size. Soda was 7 ounces, and today a kid's size is 12 ounces and the small is 16 ounces. French fries were 2.4 ounces, and now a small is 2.6 ounces, and that's discarding the fact that they come in multiple sizes now. A large is 5.9 ounces. In terms of marketplace items, according to the American Journal of Public Health, with the single exception of sliced white bread, all of the commonly available food portions measured exceeded, sometimes greatly, USDA and FDA standard portions. The largest excess over USDA standards occurred in the cookie category, which was 700%, but cooked pasta, muffins, steaks, and bagels exceeded USDA standards by 480%, 333%, 224%, and 195% respectively. Their data indicates that the sizes of current marketplace foods almost universally exceed the sizes of those offered in the past. Now, like this, the increase in obesity. In the year 2000, about 30.5% of adults were obese compared to the 39.5% now, which is almost a 10% increase in 20 years. So, in conclusion, the overconsumption of junk food is the primary cause of obesity in the United States.
All right, Lisa, the claim is very clear. You have a preview what the supporting points are going to be. I don't think that the definitions need to be part of the preview. They can actually be part of the introduction, and that would be fine. Since we never really do much with body mass index after you've defined it, I'm not sure how important that definition was. The junk food issue may be a little bit more important because some of the foods that you talk about have to be identifiable. And you treat fast food and junk food as equivalent terms during the argument, and I'm not sure that that is necessarily a fair or legitimate thing to do. But I think most people would probably make the same kind of inference that you're making there. On the first part, where you're talking about the relationship to, addiction and how it creates the same sense of desire there, you're very reliant on the rat study that you give us a great deal of description of. I'm interested in knowing what regular rat food is as compared to other kinds of food. I think that's kind of an interesting. I guess it's like rat chow or something like that. I don't know. Well, I used to have rats as pets, so I know what they eat, but it's rat chow, yes. The theory in the story in the study, I think, is explained. You've got an interesting explanation of how it works. Demonstration that it's true at the human level, I think, needs to be a little bit more thorough. You're, I think, willing to make a bigger inference at this point than I'm sure is justifiable. But you did have some information later on that showed that there's been changes in diets, especially in America, when you're talking about particular fast food companies, how they've increased portion size and that sort of thing. That's not particularly related to the sugar addiction, but there might be a correlation that's going on there. The size issue, I think you do kind of give us examples from historical past and talk about what the different sizes are. The demands on calories, in essence, your kind of argument seems to be that we've kind of conditioned ourselves to expect more and more. I'm not sure if the companies that produce the food are responding to the customers' demands, or if the customers are being influenced by the fast food companies and the way that they market or present their products. That the relationship existing between the two is possible. I think you do a good job showing that. Which direction the relationship is, that I'm a little bit less certain of. One thing that I think is missing from your last argument, which you refer to as backing, but I really think it is kind of this general argument about the increase in weight and obesity, is any attempt to diminish potential other causes of obesity, including lack of exercise, the content of the food, not just the portions, and maybe some other questions concerning the way the food is being processed, which I think is also suggested by a lot of people as being part of the problem. All right, thank you.